welcome back to the news at 10. The federal government's decision to recruit 500,000 teachers nationwide has caught the interest of the Nigerian Union of Teachers and the Nigeria Labour Congress. Both labour groups commend the federal government for the proposal, but emphasize that it is very important they carry the labour unions along. The reason the NLC wants to be part of it is to be able to monitor the credibility of the exercise. The teachers, however, say that the union will be able to examine whether it is the usual political job for the boys or the actual unemployed getting profitable jobs. Joining me now on the news at 10 is Comrade Fumi Sesi, the ex-official of Nigeria Labour Congress. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you.
Now, I really must ask, Labour is happy, with the announcement, isn't it?
Very well.
Okay, so if 500,000 teachers are to be recruited, how do you recommend the government go about the recruitment exercise?
Well, we are expecting that the government should include the labor in these processes. Labor should not be left behind. And we are also expecting that it should be a very open exercise. It should not be like all those kind of exercises in the past where people will labor in vain, where they will advertise for positions, and at the end of the day, it's going to be job for their own people. They might start asking the politicians to bring 5 people, bring 10 people, and at the end of the day, merit will be salvaged on the altar of politics.
So Labour wants to provide checks on the government in this recruitment.
Sure. And we also have some questions to ask the federal government. Is this going to be in concurrent list or exclusive list? Is the state government going to also be involved? Because recently you could see that NSC has been going hard on the governors because they were saying that they want to reduce the 18,000 minimum wage. If the governors are saying that recently that they want to reduce 18,000 minimum wage, is federal government now going to recruit teachers for state governors who are saying they want to reduce 18,000? Will they not be saying that they will not be able to pay these 500,000 teachers to be recruited? And also, federal government is also laying emphasis on primary education in this recruitment. They are not thinking about secondary education in this recruitment, and that, leave much to be desired in these recruitment exercises.
And if the teachers are recruited, as you rightly mentioned, the question is who pays them. As you said, the state government.
Is it the state government? Is it federal government? Is it going to be on concurrent list? Is it going to be on exclusive list? We must ask all these questions. These 500,000 teachers to be recruited, has this been provided for in this budget? Their salaries, trainings, and whatever we have here, has it been budgeted for in this budget of 2016?
But would Labour join government in helping to provide these teachers in the recruitment exercise?
That is why NSE has laid emphasis and has written a very tense letter to the new Labour minister, informing him about National Labour Advisory Council. This National Labour Advisory Council is a joint council of both federal, state, employers, and labor organizations. This is a kind of a forum in which the labor, federal government, state governments, and employers, where they meet, where they decide on what to do. Which area do we need labor? Which area do we need to do this and that? And for some years now, this National Labour Advisory Council has not been sitting, and now Labour wants to take it up on the federal government to do the rightful thing and at the right time.
So what else are the teachers saying? Because we haven't really heard them sound off on this issue. I just read now that they said they want to examine whether it is the usual political jobs, meaning political appointments, that ministers and people in government will be providing these recruits, or what really are the teachers saying? Is this a welcome idea for them? Will they be willing, to accept, to absorb this 500,000 that the government is willing to provide for schools?
It is a welcome idea. Just on Saturday, let me quote a comrade, the vice chairman of NUT Lagos State Council, comrade Adeshino Adedoyin. That's NUT Lagos Council. He said the federal government should involve NUT in this recruitment, because they are the ones that knows where they really actually need these teachers, the subject areas where the teachers are needed. All those areas like vulnerable areas like Borno State, or all those areas where Boko Haram has killed teachers, how many replacement they need to do. Is the teachers themselves that actually knows where they needed all these teachers, subject areas. And not only that, the teachers, they know that for some years now, recruitment for teachers has been put on hold. Let's take example of Lagos State. For the past 15 years, teachers have not been recruited. And that is what exactly I'm quoting from him. So teachers know that we needed teachers. And for that purpose, is a welcome idea by the teachers themselves that more teachers should be recruited into the system. But what we are saying is that teachers should not be recruited basically not only for the primary schools, but also for the secondary school, for all
the sectors.
Even for tertiary institutions.
Thank you so much, Comrade Fumi Sesi, for joining us on the News at 10 to discuss this very important issue. I've been speaking with ex-officio of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Fumi Sesi. Now, it's been over 48 hours since a gas explosion occurred in Nnewi, the industrial hub of Anambra State, and residents are still counting their losses. They say the gas plant should not have been sited in its current location because of the risk to residents and other businesses, and they're now appealing to the state government to put measures in place to ensure that this does not happen again.
Now you're talking.
The inferno which engulfed this once busy business entity has now been quenched. All that is left now are the ashes and rubble which bear testimony to the tragedy that befell this community in Nnewi. Residents and passers-by can't but sympathize with those affected. The carnage caused by the blaze was extensive. Neighboring business units like this block industry were not spared. So was this house, whose occupants lost their matriarch to the angry blaze. The family believes the gas plant should never have been sited close to their homes.
The site is not okay. You understand? You don't site industry in a living environment, in a residential area. You look out for what you call an industrial layout.
Someone has to know what they have to do about this thing. They give them maybe a land for them to sell gas or for them to sell fuel, far away from the place people live.
Some others were lucky, though, as their homes escaped the fire.
When the fire took place, the children was able to run away. They ran to the extent that even the fire was following them. But God being so kind, they were able to succeed. So we thank God.
For those who lost their lives, ascertaining the true figures has not been easy, as initial figures in the media had been reported to be as high as 100. But the State Commissioner of Police, Hassan Karama, says
the casualty we recorded at the perimeter of the fence outside, about 6 in number, were spectators who were running to see what was happening, and some of the customers, they were just innocently approaching the plant. And in the adjacent compound outside the fence, a woman and a child died there, bringing the total to 8. And then 6 other people were injured.
A visit to the Nnamdi Azikiwe Teaching Hospital in Nnewi corroborated the police commissioner's story, as members of staff who would not speak on camera confirmed the casualty figures to our correspondent. But not before the initially high numbers prompted the visit of a former governor of the state to the hospital.
The only thing I know, and I was told, was that the CMD has the authority and has the facts at hand, and that the victims have been transferred to Enugu Teaching, Orthopedic Teaching orthopedic hospital.
Another check at the Nnewi Diocesan Hospital drew a blank as a mortician told our correspondent over the phone that no corpse from the accident was deposited there.
Not even one.
The fire incident at Nnewi is a tragic one indeed, but brings to the fore the issues of town planning in siting such high-risk installations and the enforcement of safety regulations in their operations. The state government and other relevant agencies will do well to look in these areas to prevent a future occurrence.
Etisala, now you're talking.
The Pipelines and Product Marketing Company Limited, PPMC, says it will henceforth publish the names and godfathers of vandals who are caught stealing petroleum products. The managing director of PPMC, Mrs. Esther Nnamdi Obwe, says the partnership with other security agents will see the EFCC and the DSS also prosecuting culprits. Vandals have made it impossible for petroleum products to be pumped effectively through the pipelines in some cases for over a decade. Our energy correspondent, Olu Phillips, tells us more.
Nigeria has over 5,000 kilometers of pipelines traversing the length and breadth of this country meant to carry petroleum products. But what you may also need to know is that some years now, they have remained dry owing to activities of oil thieves. At times as this, it should have come handy in distribution of petroleum products, thereby easing the congestion in the Apapa area of Lagos that has become a nightmare for road users. There seemed to be a renewed vigor to contend with activities of vandals, and on this journey through the uncharted parts of Ajabo in Ogun State, we find our way to a scene of a recent attack and the repelling force from security agents.
They perforate this pipe, connect a valve like this. This valve, the size of this valve is almost like a 10 kg of a dumbbell, and that's what they connect to this and pump this product all the way to a village down to my left and get trucks carrying away petroleum products, carrying away our economic strength and sabotaging the economy.
Places like Yola, Makodi Yola, no product has been pumped in the last 10 years. Yeah. And that has meant that in that region, you have to truck from the, whether it's Calabar, Enugu, Aba, all the way to Yola. What has happened in the past month or so should never be repeated again. And we're putting in structures in place to ensure that it never happens again. Nobody is untouchable in this country. If you think that you can get away with this, I can assure whoever is behind, we will name and shame.
The trucks used by the vandals have been impounded, while the culprits will be flown to Abuja for prosecution by the state. We can bring you the pictures of these vandals for the risk of hampering further investigations. Pumping of petroleum products is set to resume immediately through this line to destinations as far as Kwara State, which should support the supply efforts. Olu Phillips, Charles Television News.
And now to the arts. Figurative art is described as artwork that is derived from real object sources. And Chidi Kubere, who has been drawing and painting since his childhood in Umuahia, Abia State, has made this his forte. He has devoted his time and energy to learning the basic principles of perspective, still life, and figurative drawings. Art Review tonight looks at the Chidi Kubere work in this exhibition. Point of View.
Figurative drawing has been a lifetime work for Chidi Kubere, who was born in Abia State, southeast Nigeria, but has spent over 2 decades in Germany. And so his art now reflects influences from the Dusseldorf Art Academy, laced with his local roots.
Art is very, very important to the society, and we should really take it serious. One of the avenues to know the culture and history of people, so it's very important, and it should be also good for the government to try to support, promote, and make sure that the art, that everybody's getting something out of the art.
In the course of his career, this artist developed a process of dripping paint on canvas to create a series of dots that form his images in different vibrant colors in an exhibition called Point of View, where he gives the audience a chance to get to know his art more deeply, almost like a personal touch.
The Queen is a study I did on a lady, you know, and for me, this lady is this person is just the Queen for me. She's beautiful, very, very poor in the village, and I tried to do this. It's not a portrait of her. I did decide my own interpretation. This is part of my points, you know, my views.
Catching art young is also essential.
There's supposed to be art education in the primary school. When I was a kid, I was in the school. I did they call it handicraft.
He has exhibition inside and outside the country and has many awards under his belt.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Commonwealth gold medalist Odunayo Adekuroye helps Mumbai clinch inaugural Indian Pro Wrestling League title. We'll have more in sports news. Please stay with us.